World Rugby's first real push for a global calendar after Rassie Erasmus' call. World Rugby could finally be on the brink of solving one of professional rugby's longest-running problems, the global calendar. After more than 3 decades of debate, failed negotiations, and growing frustration, reports suggest that serious talks are now underway that could finally align the Northern and Southern Hemisphere seasons. According to Midi Olympique, crunch discussions are set to take place during the Six Nations in mid-February, with rugby's most powerful decision-makers gathering in London. Leading the talks on behalf of the SANZAAR nations, Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa, will be former Lowe's Pumas scrum half and ex-World Rugby vice-chairman Agustin Pichat. At the center of these discussions is a radical proposal, shifting the Rugby Championship into the same window as the Six Nations, with the Northern Hemisphere tournament potentially starting 2 weeks later to allow alignment. If agreed, it would mark the first time in the professional era that rugby's 2 hemispheres operate on a synchronized international calendar. The issue has long plagued the sport. While Six Nations teams peak early in the year, Southern Hemisphere sides often reach top form months later, creating imbalances in preparation, performance, and player workload. Springboks director of rugby Rassie Erasmus has been one of the loudest voices calling for change. Speaking in October, Erasmus said it would be far easier for teams to prepare if everyone played their major competitions at the same time. He argued that alignment would prevent some nations peaking in June while others peak in November, and that global law changes would be easier to implement if all competitions began together. However, the biggest obstacle remains Super Rugby Pacific. To move the Rugby Championship earlier in the year, Super Rugby would also need to shift its place in the calendar, a move complicated by existing broadcasting deals and competition with other major Southern Hemisphere sports. Despite these challenges, Midi Olympique describes this as the first credible attempt in a long time to bridge rugby's divided worlds. Alignment has already become more achievable with South African franchises now competing in the United Rugby Championship and European competitions, bringing the global game closer together. If domestic leagues and international windows were fully synchronized, the benefits could be huge. Player burnout would be reduced. Tier 2 nations would have greater access to overseas-based players. And the quality of Test rugby could improve with top talent consistently available. Currently, many South African and Argentine players effectively compete year-round, while smaller nations are often weakened during international tournaments due to club commitments. A unified calendar could finally address those imbalances. Whether this bold plan becomes reality remains to be seen, but for the first time in decades, rugby's governing bodies appear willing to seriously confront the issue. If successful, this could reshape the international game for a generation. And if it fails, rugby may be left wrestling with the same calendar problems for years to come.